at the end of the day, the message is still the same. The media has changed from Santa newspaper, TV. Now you see Coca-Cola on TikTok. The people that still drink the beverage are the same people, all right? That message hasn't changed all the time.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of More Clients, Less Effort. I am absolutely excited. I don't know what word I'm going to use here. I'm going to pick something very excited today to be joined by the amazing Prosper Taruvinga. Prosper is a renowned digital marketing consultant and founder of Live Long Digital. With a deep passion for helping small business owners stop random acts of marketing, Prosper has developed the Online Prosperity Blueprint, a proven system that enables business to capture, convert, and keep more clients with less effort. His journey from Zimbabwe to Australia, where he started nothing but a backpack of dreams, has shaped his unique perspective on success. Today, Prosper works with some of Australia's biggest brands, helping them scale from 200K to 2 million in just 2 years. As the host of the Online Prosperity Show, where I'm going to be shortly, he shares his insight to building profitable and enjoyable business. Prosper's story is one of resilience and determination, and his innovative approach to sales and marketing continues to empower entrepreneurs to achieve their goals effortlessly. Prosper, it is an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Fantastic. You know, every time I hear people introducing somebody, I was actually starting to think maybe I'm in the wrong Zoom. You know, I just jumped in and thank you so much, man. It's been like 2 days. You're like, this sounds amazing. Oh, who's this guy? I was taking notes, like, oh, that sounds good.
Hey, look, at least I wasn't written by ChatGPT. I did notice early on when ChatGPT sort of came in at GPT-3, whenever you said, hey, can you please write me a speaker bio, it always added a book in.
You see, ChatGPT is very interesting. It's one of those things that I call it like a Ferrari or like a race car. If I'm put inside a race car, I wouldn't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? Or if maybe Michael Schumacher or whoever is the latest sort of race car guy is put in a Toyota, he'll do burnouts and everything else around it. So it's just a matter of handling it and skill. And those that know how to actually tame that beast are doing a lot of things. And those that are just prompting it with a couple of words, they're the ones that are receiving very limited output from it.
Yeah. Now, I know you're a little bit of a ChatGPT yourself because you are an avid and passionate reader. And those of us who are watching on YouTube right now on our YouTube channel will see the groaning bookcase behind you that you're going to need a second one, mate, or fill to the ceiling or something. Absolutely packed with books. I'm going to ask you this question up quick. Which one stands out?
That's a very good question. Most of the time, some people would have one ready, but I don't. You see, in life, there's 7 aspects to life. You know, your health, your wealth, your relationships, your work, spirituality, and I've forgotten the other 2, but that's all of those things. I mean, your mindset and your, I think, heart set. So each of those aspects has a standout book, all right? But if you really come at me and ask, the book How to Win Friends and Influence People is one book that I recommend everyone and anyone should basically read, because now we're in a world where we need to actually connect first with other human beings in order to be, do, and have a happier existence. So that Dale Carnegie book is a standout for me.
Yeah, we'll put a link to the show notes if you want to go and grab it on Amazon. If you haven't read it, go and get it. Oh, there's a flip side of that one. I don't know who wrote it. How to lose friends and infuriate people.
Absolutely. I mean, it must be some American. You know how they're always wanting a sequel of everything and bringing out a different version of pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
Mate, I know you followed your heart from Zimbabwe to Australia and just took an absolute punt and, appeared on telly and the whole sorts of things. But, and if you're interested in learning more about Prosper's story, jump onto the Online Prosperity Show, because I know you share a lot of that passion that brought you to Australia in the first place. But I'm interested in your journey to becoming a marketer, right? You've landed in Australia. You've literally got nothing to your name, right? How does someone go from that to discovering marketing and what it is? And I know this story is really kind of cool because you actually got fired from your first job because of your marketing efforts. Tell me about that.
You see, you're talking about these books, right? These books, sign of trauma. All right. So as soon as I arrived in Australia, one of the first things that I did was obviously find a job. And in the process of looking for a job, it didn't come easy. So I had to at least do something. So one of the first things that I did was work in a restaurant. And the job that I got in a restaurant was not the glamorous beat. It was actually working behind the scenes, as a dishwasher. So I took it, and I was like, you know what? I needed this because where was I going to get money to feed myself and to actually get a place to stay or pay rent and board? So while I was working there, as you can tell, I like connecting with people. I like knowing what everybody else is doing. And I started having conversations with everyone, but I wasn't getting anywhere. So I decided, you know what? If I really want to know what these people are about, why don't I look for them on Facebook? And when I went on Facebook, it's like somebody just goes by the name Tim or somebody goes by the name Jane. That was a non-starter, to say the least. And I took it upon myself and I was like, you know what? We all work in the same place. Why don't I just create a Facebook page so that, I'll then let everybody sort of like that page. And when they like that page, then I get to know who they are. So unbeknownst to me, apparently I was committing the ultimate sin in marketing history. You do not create a Facebook page on behalf of somebody's business. You know what I mean? Like you can only imagine what would ensue after that. So back in that time, I don't know if you know Tim, there were companies like Zomato or Urban Spoon that were like Yelp or review sites. So that's what especially the restaurant industry, that's what they thought the internet was all about, that your competitors will just go online and write, reviews that, there's rats or there's cockroaches in the kitchen, so don't go there. So as soon as
if you get above a 3, you're doing quite well, right? 3 out of 5 stars. The reviews are fake.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So word got around to the business owner that I had created a page, and he just came fuming in the kitchen because I think he didn't want to confront me, but he just came in and was like, who did this? And I'm looking around and I had to face up to what I had done. And I was like, oh, that was me. And he's like, I don't want to see it. Take it down. So I'm conflicted. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought I was doing something good and I thought I was helping out in whatever it is that I was doing. So my need to want to connect with people actually got me disconnected with everything else, and instantly I actually got fired. So I don't know if you know, but I don't know if they still do that because I've since taken myself off Meta. That's a story for another day. But if you go on to delete a Facebook page, it takes about 30 days for
It's really quite difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, they don't want you off. It's like, yeah,
it was a little interesting ecosystem that once upon a time was actually really easy to start running ads on Facebook, and now you need to be an absolute expert to do it. All right, it's become inaccessible to the inexperienced.
So while we were in that 30 days run for deleting that page, a very lucky thing happened. So in Melbourne, football is really big, right? So one of the girlfriends, obviously, I'm not going to really mention names because that's another thing, but one of the girlfriends from one of the players from the Richmond Tigers came and had dinner at the restaurant. And on that particular, day, they took photos and they tagged themselves on the page. So back in the time, there was very few people on Facebook. And I remember it was 2,468 likes, comments, shares, or whatever it is. So literally that photo went viral. Okay. And now the business owner didn't know what to do with his new
like, oh shit.
Hey, all right. So he rings me up and is like, where are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm busy just looking for another job. He's like, come to the restaurant. I'll be there at 4. So I'm confused. I'm like, what now have I done? So he comes in and is like, what do we do with this? And I was like, oh no, it doesn't matter. The page is being deleted anyway. He's like, no. I want you to fix this. And I'm like, whoa, how do I fix this now? We're almost deleting this page. So he's like, I want you to do it again. Now, I'm now thinking, oh, how do I repeat that? I don't know how that can be repeated. So he's like, leave whatever you're doing. You do the internet now. Those were his exact words. You do the internet now. And I asked him, wait a minute. I thought you had fired me. He's like, don't forget about that. You're doing the internet now. So now I then started learning and studying and wanting to know how can I get this repeat of an event. And soon enough, if you really want to look at it in retrospect, my man, that was my first client. And I had to study, learn, and just really put myself out there, And I think that's how we met, because now I was looking for people, I was looking for ideas and who else is doing it. And in the process, I actually learned how to do search engine optimization. I learned how to do social media marketing, and most of the stuff has been self-taught up until I then supported myself with a team that can actually do the work and things of that nature. So it was by accident. Everything just so.
I think so much of it is that marketing is one of those spaces that constantly changes. Right? I think Facebook is literally 20 years old this year.
Yeah, please, man.
LinkedIn just turned 21. Congratulations on your birthdays, guys.
In America, LinkedIn can drink now.
Okay, so LinkedIn can drink, Facebook cannot. Instagram, no, you're still in, junior high, right? And there's these massive platforms that sort of come on, right? TikTok's only a couple of years old, really. So, when we see how quickly this space changes, it's not surprising to hear this story of a business owner who's very good at the thing that their business delivers, whether that be Chinese food or, plumbing or accounting or whatever it happens to be, or widgets for some engineering process, right? But because this sales and marketing space is changing so rapidly, and as marketers, we have this propensity to call everything new and exciting, and this is the new way. And the old way doesn't work anymore. It was always, the old way is only like what worked last week. We constantly got to changing these things. And as business owners, we need to be open to embracing an agility around our marketing to look at, well, what's working and what is getting me clients at an acceptable cost of acquisition, which is something that I guess most people don't know. What does it cost me to get someone into my restaurant to buy a meal, and hopefully what does it cost me to get them back so they do it again, right? And so marketing is this journey, as you well know. Marketing is this journey. It's not just about getting awareness with your client so that they understand that I know what Coca-Cola is, who incidentally will spend $5 billion in marketing this year, not million, billion for the B.
That's a lot of
to maintain that brand presence, but also ensure that their customers continue to buy what it is that they're selling.
Absolutely. But you see, the one thing about brands like Coca-Cola is they're paying to be in front of people. They still have the same message. You know what I mean? And that's where also a lot of people think I need to constantly be reinventing the market, because I visually believe marketing is constitutes of just 3 M's: your message, the market you're sending that message to, and the media. You see, when Coca-Cola would have started, there's debates, people would debate around this, but they literally invented Santa, because that was a media that they used to share happiness, which is their message. So Santa delivers happiness every Christmas, and Coca-Cola delivers happiness to just about everyone who drinks that sugar water. I don't know what the ingredients are these days, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the message is still the same. The media has changed from Santa, newspaper, TV. Now you see Coca-Cola on TikTok. The people that still drink the beverage are the same people, all right? That message hasn't changed all the time. So that's also one thing a lot of people should understand. The media can change, can vary. Like we started off with Facebook. Now you'll be surprised. As a digital marketer, I don't have zero presence on Facebook at all. I might have from my team, but not me personally. So that media has run its course, with the way that I do things now. And it's different for people depending on the stage you are in the business.
I think you touch on a really important point there, that if we get our strategy right, the tactic can be variable.
Yeah.
Right? If we get our strategy right, and the fundamentals of the customer journey don't really change that much, but the media in which we express that customer journey may.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tell me about this, mate. You talk a lot on your show and in your communication around this idea of random acts of marketing. What does that mean?
Is it random acts of marketing akin to somebody who is trying to herd cats, right? So cats obviously don't listen. and let's say you've got 5 cats. One is busy licking itself, the other one is trying to cough out a fur ball, and the other one is just basking in the sun. So you get the picture, right? We've seen enough cats on the internet long enough. So many people dabble with whatever media that's available at that particular time. And as we have established, most of these medias evolve and they change, and so many people are still hung up on maybe something that was working before that no longer works or that no longer serves them. Okay. Even the media platforms themselves haven't quite figured out themselves as yet. As you would notice, Twitter just got bought out. Now it's something else, and if somebody just
Don't call it Twitter.
absolutely, but if somebody just comes from a rock that we're hiding under and they now have to meet and X, that's a whole different language to the language that we were speaking before. So people just really need to figure out, who am I selling to, and why should they care to hear my message? And then the rest will figure itself out. And what is that?
As an aside, what's it called now? Is it still a tweet?
X or Y? Or Elon you. I don't know. It's just the way that it's set up, and the language around things change, but you still have people that want to go to a different place. All right. So people that have a need, and if you're a business owner or a consultant or a coach, you need to be able to find ways that you can reach this audience with your message, your services, or your products in a way that satisfies them. And then, like you said earlier on, they'll keep coming back for more. So many of us, just hold on to something just because we're good at it, but it now becomes a random act where we're not consistent in it enough for it to actually then produce the results that we're wanting. And it's now just like a hop on, hop off. And without a consistent track record or a string of events that then lead to the next thing, you don't have enough data to back yourself up. And that's where it now just becomes like a random act.
Yeah, it would be like, I know you've got young kids. Mine's a bit older now. So, but it's like getting your kids to clean their bedroom and expecting if you ask them once, it's actually going to happen. I like that if you're a parent and can get your kids to clean their bedroom and you ask them once, please let us know your secret. All right. We actually want you on the show to explore that as a completely random topic. But, there is that consistency of a process and really knowing what is the thing that I want people to do next. All right. And I think you're totally right. Certainly in my experience, when people are implementing a marketing strategy in anything, I don't care whether it's SEO, whether it's direct outreach, whether it's skywriting or letterbox drops or, Google ads, you've actually got to give it, it's not a quick fix thing, is it? Right? I think there's a mistake that people make thinking, if I do this for 6 minutes, it'll change the world. It's a bit like taking a jerry can full of fuel down to your local NASA rocket launch station and filling up your rocket and expecting to get to Mars. Look, it's just not going to happen. You're going to get a bit of smoke, but nothing's going to move. Nothing's going to move the needle. And so we need to be really clear about, I think as marketers, we have a duty of care to our clients to say that is not enough spend for you to get an outcome, right? So keep your money, keep your powder dry, right? But also, as business owners, we also need to think that, hey, I need to actually set, like any project, some parameters around what does success look like and how do I tell whether I'm moving in the right direction, even if I haven't got terminal velocity yet. Too often, we have these half-built bridges in marketing, as you say, random acts of marketing that are not coherent and don't lead to a bigger outcome in terms of moving the needle.
I like that. See, half of the people don't quite know what it looks like when they're done. And they haven't figured out where it is that they want to go. So you did mention a destination, right? Like go to Mars in a rocket. Okay, so we've got the vehicle. The destination is Mars. If we end up on the moon, we know we've done something wrong. So a lot of people also haven't figured out in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, where do I want to be? Where am I supposed to be? How am I going to know what this looks like? All right. So the vehicles are there. I mean, you've heard of Elon Musk saying, I went to Russia and I said, hey, can you sell me your old, rockets minus the nukes? All right. The vehicles are there. You can go as long as you've got the money, you can pay for just about anything else. But where are you taking this? So one of the things that we actually do to avoid these random acts of marketing is figure out a Jeep. All right. When you are going somewhere, or just you've got a destination in mind, the address that you put is not the address of where you are. You put the address of where you're going, and then the Jeeps will self-navigate itself. That way, even if it comes through roadworks or speed humps, or there's traffic congestions or whatever it is, it could always redirect, but it still takes you to the end destination. So many people get taken away, or with, it could be random acts of marketing or shiny objects, because there always will be something new that can do something cheaper, better, faster, according to whoever has learned it in the last week. But what we should just really understand is, who are we, who needs what we are serving, and how can we do it in a way that it's cheaper, better, faster for us to deliver that product. All right.
Yeah, we need data to be able to dial in and then optimize it, right? I think the first optimization was always one versus nothing, right? This is the before, and now we're doing something that is always going to be better. The results that you are achieving in your business right now are a function of the marketing efforts that you put in the front end. The only way that those results are going to change are if you do more marketing, more efficient marketing, or optimize the process between lead and dollars.
Absolutely. And the best part about all of this, remember when we were talking earlier on, I was like, visualize what is actually happening and take note, because one day you'll have a good story to tell. It could be a success story, or it could be a sob story, but what you're looking for is that journey. Nobody ever just arrived at a place. People, when you arrive now, people are going to want to know the backstory. You know what I mean? It's just like you've been given a podium, or you've just had an opportunity to be on an international stage, and you're given an opportunity to maybe dance. And when you do dance, it doesn't just come out the way you want to. So people will then compensate, or will feel sorry for what they have seen based on what the track record has been. So you just want to be also able to showcase and show people that, I just didn't show up on this Olympic stage today.
Mate, going back to 2007, 2006, I won my first internet marketing award as given by Smart Company.
Wow.
Right? And I'd never actually entered a business awards previously. And we won the best SEO strategy. This was back in the dark ages of digital marketing. It actually had a name. It was actually called digital marketing then, which was a novelty compared to the 10 years prior to that. And I think my submission for that was, it says, describe your SEO strategy. And I said, I think my answer was, we just write a shitload of content. And that business had published 197,000 pieces of content with a focus on Canberra. And so, of course, it was going to rain.
It's supporting what they were doing. So it's fanning their flames. You see, the thing about it all is that's now an asset. You see, when you have created that much content, because people come to the internet to get information, and all that digital marketing is just reflecting back on information that has been indexed before. But throughout the times, I've actually redefined what SEO is. Okay, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
It's simply educating others. All right. So you know what I mean? So it's no longer about the algorithms, the meta tags, and everything else that comes along with it. You're educating people on who you are, what it is that you do, why now, and why they should care. All right. And it's usually people that have a track record. That's why Google will then give you a lot more points for a website that's been there longer than some website that's just been created yesterday. It's just, natural that trust has been built along the way. I mean, if you were any much of a bad actor, somebody would have taken you out by now. So you're not. So that's also a trust signal. So if you're just educating people, how do you tell people you've been in business for 25 years? You don't. You necessarily just have the assets, or you've created the systems, processes, and tools that help them get to where they want. All right. People don't necessarily care about the features of whatever it is that they're doing. They care about the future that they are receiving. And if you can just make it as easy and possible for them to actually just jump into the future that they want, why wouldn't people pay you the big bucks?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I think there's a couple of acronyms that we use in marketing that really should be rethought of. And I love the rethinking of SEO, right? That simply educating others is SEO, right? It's not much more complicated than that. My other one that I've been doing recently is ROAS, right? Now, ROAS for the last couple of years has been thought of as return on ad spend.
Yeah.
It's been the providence of direct marketers and ad gurus, ROAS. Okay, so return on ad spend. And that basically means for every dollar I spend on advertising, how much do I make back in what we call initial customer value, right?
Absolutely.
ICV, right? So initial customer value. So if you're selling a $997 course and your cost to get a purchase after the clicks and opt-outs and opt-ins and da, right, is $300, your ROAS is about 3.3 on every dollar spent. Spent 300, you made 997. Okay, fantastic. Okay, I think we should be looking at ROAS is a return on acquisition spend in a business. Okay, return on acquisition. What do we spend in our business, both in dollars and in resources? Okay, meaning your time to acquire clients. And again, is that less than what we get in initial customer value? So think about that in context of now that gives us a benchmark to look at all of our marketing efforts by channel and going, what am I spending to get customers across all of my different channels, whether that be organic, paid, expert channel, or in your network. So if you and I both in a BNI group, okay, we spend resources in from our business, which is our time, to go to a BNI meeting every single week, or a networking meeting in general, if you're doing other networking groups. Okay, your time has a cost. That is a cost that you could spend in your business in other ways, right? Oh, so what is your return on acquisition spend to get customers from that thing? And can it be more effectively used somewhere else?
I mean, if you really think of it that way, we're spending a lot of money acquiring these customers, but when it's customers,
we spend a lot more acquiring customers than we think we do, right? And I think that leads to this thing where we have the appearance of growth, but not necessarily actual profitability.
Oh man, you've really touched on something there, because if you really think of it, the spend is not necessarily even monetary. The energy, what we're doing right now, you know what I mean? The emotional investment in just really trying to put it all across there. And that's the reason why, if you then really focus on the acts of the actual marketing, then you're not going to be spending a lot. Because if you're doing random, then you obviously you're just hoping something is going to work, and you're not building on what you have created prior. You know what I mean? So I think it was Bruce Lee that says, I'm not afraid of a person that knows 1,000 kicks, but I'm afraid of a person that knows one kick and has practiced it 1,000 times. That person will break you in so many places. You know what I mean? So there's so much that is involved in actually bringing customers to us. What are we doing to then hold on to them so that we then recuperate all that energy, time, money, and effort that we've spent in that acquisition process?
Yeah, it also makes us start to think, how am I going to optimize this process? Okay, so we'll absolutely, right? And if you've got an ad agency working with you right now, they should be looking regularly at your spend, changing keywords, changing audiences to optimize the acquisition cost and keep that cost as low as possible so that you get the return on investment. What we should be doing is looking at all of our marketing activities in the same way. Look at your website, look at your podcast, right? Look at your networking activities, look at the, sandwich board that you've got outside your shop and going, what am I optimizing here, and how is this actually delivering me a return on my investment?
So
it's not a cost. It's not a cost. Marketing is not a cost. It's an investment. Let's get into this, because I know your online prosperity blueprint goes into this in a lot of detail. Talk me through the process of how you use it in your business.
Fantastic. So the blueprint is designed, or is divided into 4 segments. Okay. So the first part is the actual people. What are the people, the pain, the product, and what is the payoff that people, somebody will continuously pay you money for. And I'm hoping people are not just doing one-off payments in their business. There has to be some sort of continuity. Otherwise, with what we're talking about, it's not going to work out. So who are these people? What, how can you identify them in a sea of me to other people? Because not everyone is going to be your customer. Not everyone is necessarily, looking for what you're looking for. I'll give you a specific example. When I first came to Australia, you can see my teeth, right? I've got this African gap. If you see a lot of Africans, they've got this gap, and it's very prominent. And I got vain a little bit, and I wanted to get it fixed, Tim, at some point. And I was quoted, guess, $15,000 to fix it. And I was like, you know what, I'll come back when, when the raw says started kicking in. And every time, now that you mentioned my kids, every time I take them to school, I walk past a dental place, all right? And they have a sign outside, which is like their sandwich board that says new patients welcome. Now, let me tell you what that sign does for me. Nothing, because first of all, I don't identify as a patient, but I'm 15,000 walking past every single day that dentist could be having in that chair. So if you know who exactly your customer is and the people and the pain and what it is that they're looking for, yes, these days with the advent of ChatGPT, you literally can go granular. Those that want cosmetic, those that are actually paying with their teeth, they identify differently, but there's still money that comes in your way. The other people might be an emergency, but people like me need to find out, are they the best people? And because this is a once in a lifetime type setup. So that's the people side of things. And once you go to the second stage, which is now the engage part, this is where simply educating other people comes in. So they're now going to have to calm me down and educate me on what it is that they do. And that, since this is my face, I'm not going to regret whatever it is that I'm going to be doing. And in the process, they have to be providing me value and positioning themselves as the rightful business to take this business from me. And the third stage of the online prosperity blueprint is simply just trying to solve my problem and not try and sell to me. Okay. If they can start telling me that, hey, we could maybe start by just adjusting. And if we can adjust, then maybe we can go into surgery, or we start looking at ways to just bring me in. All right. And ways for me to start. Maybe I can get an x-ray or something like that. Bring the people in somehow, little steps towards the bigger, goal, not exactly just going for the jugular on day number one. And while you're engaging them, just start putting a few calls to action here and there. Hey, are you ready to get checked? Oh, we've got this special going on. You know what I mean? Because they've invested in me getting to know, like, and trust who they are. And then the last bit of the blueprint is just basically the actual branding. All right. Who do people say you are as a dental practice? Are you building a community around what you're doing? Because I will go to an African party and I'll see another guy with teeth like this, and I'll be like, you see, I used to have that. Now you can go to dentist X, Y, and Z. We now can help them grow their business, but they haven't done any of that part.
They're just generic.
Yeah, dear patients.
It's yeah, that's right. It's the jerry can. It's the jerry can of fuel, right? It's just like, oh, we've ticked that box, we're done.
Yeah, they have a marketing budget. That sign outside, it works for the people that are new patients. But like I said, I'm $15,000 walking past every single day. Now, can you imagine if that is happening on your business, on your website, or on your emails, or whatever it is that you're putting out there that you think you're marketing, but it's just a random act of marketing. You've put out a sign, but who are you speaking to? It's Nazi team. And did. All right. I was waiting for you to touch that da.
Yeah.
I literally was communicating to you, but speaking in my own language. You didn't understand the last 5 seconds, did you?
Oh, maybe I'll do speak. Like, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but you get what I mean, right? Yes, I kept in the same conversation, but I wasn't communicating to you.
I did that a couple of years back. I was in Vietnam for a presentation over there, and the guy was, of course, speaking in Vietnamese. But every so often, he would then say marketing automation in English. All right, clearly there is no word for marketing automation in Vietnamese. Speaking of automation, you're a big fan of automation in your process between lead and clients. How do you use it, and how important is it for you?
Bruh, it takes a lot of time for somebody to get to know, like, and trust you. It takes a redemptive amount of touch points. And if you haven't created those touch points to be consistent enough, out of sight, out of mind. All right. So from the time that you connect with someone, they might just see a post on LinkedIn or be referred by someone or connect with you somehow and see you in a photo somewhere. People need to piece together a picture. So it's like a paint by numbers. All right. Up until they've got enough information for them to say, you know what, I think I've seen this guy long enough. Let me get in touch and let me obviously find out what he's all about. So all of that, I can't be doing. You see, like right now, I still have people in my CRM that I met 3 or 4, 5 or 6 years ago, and they still haven't reached their quota to say, you know what, I think it's time now. So people are going on their journey at different times, but you want to make sure that if you there at the time they want to make that decision, at least you're the last person that they're like, you know what? I think this is time now for me to have the
Top of
chance.
mind when the decision's made. Well, it comes back to this thing, right? You know, the stuff in most cases, not in all cases, right? That's why they put the sort of candy bars next to the cash registers at the supermarket, right? It's not for you. It's for the kids you've had to drag around for the last hour and a half, right? To fill up the thing, and they go, and you're like, shut up, like a candy bar. You know, we do the things that for most of us, what the thing we solve is not a problem for today. It's not an urgent problem. Like if you wait 5 minutes between now and when you make a decision to come and buy a CRM from me and help you set it up, your life won't change, right? No one will die. Well, actually, maybe some people die, right? But in most cases, you probably don't know them. Hopefully, you don't know them, right? But in most cases, the things that we solve for clients is not something that has incredible urgency. As marketers, we try to create a false urgency in a way, right? There's only 3 left, or last one, buy today, or the price discount is gone. We try to create false urgency around it to get the thing now. But in most cases, we're not necessarily serving our client with that because they're not ready to buy. They don't need it right now.
Yeah.
They're just kind of responding to some price impetus. So, if your business doesn't have a CRM today, it's not going to be worse off tomorrow if you don't have a CRM tomorrow, or the next day, or the next day. In a year's time, yes, the cumulative impact of not managing your lead pipeline and not automating that process is probably going to be significantly greater, but it's very hard to articulate how much. It's not quantifiable in any particular way, right? I love this saying, right? To a man dying of thirst, a glass of water is priceless, but to everyone else, it's just a glass of water. So yeah, if you're dying and someone can solve that, fantastic, urgent, important, high value, right? But for most of the products we sell, it doesn't matter too much. So we've got to create a relationship with our clients, not that new patients welcome. Yeah, of course new patients are welcome. That's bloody obvious. Maybe that sandwich board should have a QR code with it that links to our resource that says how to get a killer smile.
Absolutely. You see, you and I connect on one thing, on whiskey. All right. We, during COVID, would sit around, have a whiskey here and there. And obviously that is yet another touch point. You know what I mean? So there's so much that happens to create a long lasting need for maybe a service. And let me just bring whiskey to the play here, just so that you can understand. You see, whiskey is usually fine whiskey when it's like a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old, 20-year-old, or whatever age, statement it's got, right? But you know what that actually means. Somebody put hopes, water, and dreams into a barrel and locked it up for 10 years. Didn't even know what was going to come out of it. Didn't even know what it was going to taste like. And didn't even know if the barrel was going to rot and he would lose any of that whiskey. But he waited for 10 years and then bottled it. And now people are enjoying it. That's how I feel like as business people, we need to be creating something or starting a relationship with someone today that you will then cash in on in 3 years, in 4 years, or in 5 years. And if you now have that sort of energy around your business, you are no longer really chasing people, because people like buying stuff, but they don't like being sold to. And the reason why a lot of people feel like they're being bombarded or being spammed is just because everybody's thirsty and everybody just wants to do something immediately. But if you really create assets and you start automating that process, just touching base with that person, hey, what's going on? Whenever you're ready, we're here. Do you know what I mean? Not necessarily going in. You see, I learned that the hard way. If by the time we finish this, I want you to count how many SEO emails you would have received and how many people who are trying to sell you backlinks and things like that you would have received. But right now, you're sitting here, you're talking to an SEO guy. And whoever's watching right now is listening to an SEO guy. It's different, because if you haven't put skin in the game, nobody has got time for you. Who are you? And why should anybody care?
Very true. Very true indeed. Just personal answer on the whiskey side, just shits and giggles. You should never drink whiskey less than half your age minus 7.
Oh wow, you're upping the yeah.
There we go, mate. We usually finish out the show with a bunch of random fun facts.
Wow.
And so my first question to you is, how would you like to be remembered?
Ooh, I want to be remembered as the guy who never gave up. I want to be remembered as the guy who showed up and did all there was to do. And yeah, that for me is the chills on that, and also, I don't know, I just commissioned a statue in the middle of Melbourne there, so maybe that's how people would remember.
It's your legacy. This is of you. Now, I know you were sort of locked down, as many people around the world know. You were locked down during COVID, and you still do a lot of work from home. What's the hardest thing about working from home?
The hardest thing about working from home is something that I've actually solved. The pantry is in arm's length. Like,
You got to get up to go to the pantry.
yes. But then the thing is, that has actually learned me to be very disciplined. I actually now just relegate myself to one meal a day. So even if I'm in the house, my wife is Italian and she's probably just cooking some really mean pasta, lasagna, or whatever you can think of. But the discipline of just waiting for that one meal a day and savoring the taste and everything else is the one thing that has actually made me become very patient, a very patient individual. No longer want instant gratification, because it's easy to just reach out an apple or whatever it is. But that is something that I started working towards, and I think we're doing on 2 years now where I'm only just eating one meal a day.
Impressive. What's an underrated tool that you believe is indispensable for your job?
Ooh, an underrated tool is, you mean like a physical tool or anything that you can
A
use?
tool or a process?
The oldest technology that we know, which is the book. People don't understand how reading a book takes you on a journey. And so many people wouldn't look at it and regard it as a tool, because in there, like we have said, the strategies that people have built businesses without the technology that we have right now, what is actually making businesses thrive. So if you know how Seth Godin did his 1,000 or whatever it is blogs, and then you can now start doing that with you, or whichever way that you're doing it, can he not think you would blow up or really amplify yourself? But he's written books. Everybody that's done something noteworthy, they've written a book, or somebody's written a book about it. So that's just something that I feel like if people would just take themselves off of the screen a little bit, immerse themselves into a book, you walk out of that experience a changed person.
Yeah, I love that. I'm reminded of an Instagram video I saw of Vin Yang. Right, so shout out to Vin. We'd love to have you on the show, Vin, if you're interested. Several years back, right? Now, Vin's a very well-known Australian communications coach. Incredible guy, uses a lot of language and stage presence and stuff, and how he helps people communicate more effectively. And one of the first videos I ever saw of Vin when I started to follow him, where he was talking about how his father encouraged him to read books, and gave this really fascinating metaphor around, how, we enter into life as a bit of a battle, right? There's a series of battles we go through in life to ultimately win the war, kind of thing. And reading a book is like adding someone's entire life experience as a soldier into your army. And the more books you read, or the more soldiers you have, the more likely you are to overcome and win the battles you face.
Absolutely.
That little bit of advice there has stuck with me for many, many years now.
Because half of the time when somebody goes in to write a book, they know it's a permanent record. So they put in their best in there. You know what I mean? And within maybe, let's just say 10 minutes, you actually have 10 years of stuff. Because I visually believe we're here to live, to learn, and to contribute. For you to be able to live the best life, you need to learn how to do that. So that's why I mentioned earlier on, it's not just one book, your health, your wealth, your mindset, your vocation, how to talk to people, how to even sustain a video like this and be a giver, and all those things. It's stuff that you got to learn. Nobody is born with all the knowledge that you have. And once you get that information, send the elevator down. All right. So you can also help other people. And that will just take care of that legacy that a lot of people are seeking.
Yeah, absolutely. The real meaning of legacy is not what we create for ourselves, it's the impact we create for others. So throw this one at you, because this will be a tough one. A two-part question. How did you meet your wife? And what is your favorite meal that she cooks?
Okay, let's start with the favorite meal. The favorite meal is actually my comfort food. So back home we eat a lot of rice, or we eat a lot of maize meal. And whenever she makes like a nice rice with a nice goulash, or maybe lamb or beef casserole type dish, that just takes me places. You know what I mean? I'm no longer that hungry kid from Africa. If I'm eating that, I'm just, yeah, let's do that. But how did I meet my wife? I met my wife through a chance encounter. 24 December, the year was 2020. Yeah, but it was 10 years ago. So what's 10 years ago?
2014.
2014. Right. So I met my wife, we'd gone out at a Christmas Eve party, and her team was also, in the same place that we were at, and we connected on that day, but I didn't see her until February the next year. And we just maybe officially had a date, and then we, just grew from there. Before you knew it, we were now living together and blessed with 2 daughters now, and it's been a fun experience ever since. But it's been a journey, man. Just starting from there, didn't even know what I was doing, and she's just been patient with me. So
Love that. Had you not left Africa, would you be a warlord or would you be doing something else?
oh yeah, I'll be butt naked on a zebra with the bone sticking through my nose right now, just yodeling. Just.
Yeah. If you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing? What would you do?
Bruh, I'll probably just be, I don't know, smoking, hanging around. Because the thing is, I'll just give you an outline. The culture that my country now has is our first president had been the president for 32 years. So he had not given anybody a chance to grow. So right now, that culture doesn't exist. The president who came after him had waited for 32 years. Now he's not just going to let go after his 4-year term. He's going to hold on to that. So you can imagine that trickled down to even the companies. So whoever is the CEO, they literally have to like scrape them off the CEO chair, into a coffin and get buried, because they never leave that position. Even if they can't do anything, they pass it on to, it's nepotism. So I wasn't in any line of royalty or any line of people that did well. So, I would have just been, like I said, just doing whatever was happening at that particular time, maybe a little bit louder, because then, I'm speaking my language,
Just how that plays an impact on the entire culture and viewpoints of
trickle down effect. Yeah. Even a school headmaster. Some school headmasters have been there for 40 years. So there's no innovation. There's nothing. You don't get promoted. Where do you get promoted to? So wherever you are, that's your station for life.
What's the biggest problem you and your team solved in your business in the last year?
Let me just think about this for a very, very long time, a little bit, because we had a customer come to us and they were on the verge of actually losing their company. They were a roofing company. So you can imagine during COVID, and, COVID happened. So not a lot was happening in terms of work, but they had overcapitalized and they had gotten machinery and stuff, and now they couldn't able to pay for it, and they were referred to me. They were literally on their last legs, and for a roofing company, we actually started doing LinkedIn for them. All right, and LinkedIn was to connect them with real estate people, buyers, advocates, and we went in a totally different way, because SEO would have taken forever, and any other strategy would have actually taken ages. So we literally went into the right people and said, "Hey, Mr. Real Estate, we've got a roofing company here who's willing to do any work that you might have in terms of maintenance for your houses and things of that nature." Started getting a trickle of jobs coming in, and then they were sort of left off the hook by obviously the debt collectors that were already coming after them and things of that nature. Because before the pandemic, nobody knew things were going to be that bad. So so the one thing that we actually did for them was literally give them back their peace of mind and their life, and they're still our client right now. That's a heartfelt experience that we actually
It's transformative, but it also, I think, highlights the importance that people should have with their agency and vice versa. Because if you don't tell us, we can't necessarily recommend the best strategy to get you where you want to go. So, Prosper, really appreciate you joining us on the show today, mate. You've shared a ton of insights and advice, and mate, you're always an absolute joy to spend time with. So I appreciate you joining us today.
I appreciate your time and what you're creating here, man. I'm a little bit starstruck, I've known you for a while, and what you have created and the growth that you have projected and presented, no one can take that away from you. So kudos to you, man.
Thanks, man. Guys, thanks again for joining us on another episode of More Clients, Less Effort. Hopefully you got some good insights and takeaways that you can apply in your business today, whether you're a dentist or an SEO company or anything else. Join us again real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the episode with someone you think might get value from it. You can connect with Prosper over at Live Long Digital. We'll put the links and everything in the show notes. You can find those there. And I'm sure he'd love to connect and see how he might be able to help you as well with the online prosperity blueprint. We'll catch you on another episode real soon.